Hey guys, how's it going? A lot of people are afraid to change themselves. They're afraid to become something different than what they are because they don't want to be a sellout. They don't want to, it's scary to take on personas that are not, that are seemingly incongruent. You don't want to be somebody that you're not because that's somebody that's deceiving. That's somebody that's bad, supposedly. Being something that you're not, categorized as, people generally also resist you. They also will cajole you. They'll be assholes to you. Your friends are not necessarily going to be okay if you as an individual are leveling up, if you're improving, because it's intimidating. Most social circles are crabs in a bucket. When one starts to crawl out of the bucket, the other ones want to pull him back down because they want to try to pull him down so they can get up themselves or make themselves seem bigger. It kind of sucks when your friend is starting to act in a way that's incongruent, and not to mention that it makes you feel like you're losing your friend. It's understandable. However, it's the worst thing that people can do to each other, is trying to hold each other down. However, this is something, if you want a different result from life, you have to change your actions. And to change your actions, you have to change who you are. And to change who you are, you obviously have to change the mechanisms. If you're not willing to change all this, how do you expect anything different from life? Now, the biggest thing with the pickup community is everybody wants to find all these band-aids to fix themselves. They want all these tricks and techniques because other than the tricks and techniques, what do you have? You have who you are. You have your ego. You have this personality that you built up that protects you, this ego. And to destroy this ego, it's painful. So the easier option is to just create tricks and band-aids, to duct tape this thing together to try to get the result that you want. However, this is so subpar. It's a very inefficient. It can be helpful to know little tricks, but the best thing you can possibly do is change you. Change the belief structure that you have. Change this person that you express to the outside world. Now, one of the biggest things I see is that people with low self-esteem being unwilling to maybe change the way they look. Now, if you guys see, I have a very kind of a crazy style to me, I could do all this kind of stuff, something that maybe a lot of Midwesterners would call, maybe flamboyant, something like that. When I first started this YouTube channel, the biggest thing that I always got was, oh, you have a nose ring, oh, you have the earrings, you must be gay, oh, look at you, you're gay, and all this kind of stuff. Or it was just a lot of people that were very insecure or not very understanding. Now, this is the thing though. Like I said, if you want to change you have to change everything, exterior, interior, and in this video, I'm gonna explain why. And I'm also gonna teach you guys how to do this effectively and quickly. I'm gonna teach you how to change the person and the construct that you express to the world. Not just that you express to the world, but on the inside out as well. So that not just are you expressing that you're this person, but you also are this fucking person. And that's the most important thing about this, that you become the person. And I'm gonna teach you guys in this video how to do that. With that being said, let's get into the video.
Yeah, I confess, Father, I confess, 'cause I've been living wrong.
A lot of you guys know me from the pickup artist community. You know me from seduction. Now, a person that I used to be, or a person I used to express myself as, was an intellectual, kind of a nerdy kid. I was a heavy intellectual. I was doing a lot of writing, reading. I was just overall nerdy. I wanted to know geological time periods. I wanted to learn about evolution. I studied math. I was just that kind of a guy. And I never thought of myself as a cool person. Now, something that you guys may notice, or a lot of people think of when they think of my channel or think of me and my personality, is I act very bro-ish. I say a lot of things like man, bro, things like that. This wasn't natural to me. I started acting this way because I noticed that guys that acted this way had good results with women. I took that. I took the personality traits from them, and even a lot of the mannerisms I do. I see somebody do the mannerism, and I steal it from them. What you want to start doing as a person is looking at the people that get what you want, and you want to start imitating them. Now, a lot of you guys are the guys in the community. A lot of you guys are well, I don't want to change my looks. I'm just going to fix my game. The problem with this is when you approach a girl and it doesn't look like you take care of yourself, you're working an uphill battle. She's instantly putting you in a box. When people talk to you, initially, when they first try to converse with you, or when they're trying to put you into a certain category, it's really difficult, and it takes a lot of brain power to give somebody their own unique box. It makes a lot more sense for you to put them into a category of somebody that you'd understand. Now, if this is the case, you want to come across as somebody of social intelligence, of somebody that you've seen in the past who's been socially intelligent. Me, I'm very clean cut, I dress really nice, I look like I actually care about myself. Now, a lot of you guys are afraid and intimidated to dress in a certain way that's going to express something about yourself. Because if you were to do that, then maybe people are going to see right through it and you're not actually the person they're expressing, and you're going to get rejected a lot more. But to move into a new character, you have to change the exterior along with the interior. You have to change everything about yourself. So when I talk to a girl, I express and I try to look as much like type of guy that I think is going to put me into a good category as I possibly can. Now with it too, I do also add some little unique things about myself. Like I have a very peculiar way of speaking. Like I have a very rich vocabulary. And this is more for the long term. So when somebody keeps talking to me, then I can be put into my own unique category. I can be my own unique person. As somebody gets to know me and like fleshes out my personality, it makes me more unique, which makes me more rare, which makes me more valuable. This is a very valuable trick too. Ultimately, like you want to almost meld and steal things of people that you like, of cultures that you think are going to give you something you want. What do you want? Do you want money? Do you want women? Do you want friends? Do you want to have a really fun, expressive life? Do you want a certain job? Do you want to be a person that travels the world? Do you want to be one of those travel vloggers? Then what are all the travel vloggers doing the exact same thing? Like what are all the key traits of all these people that they're doing that allow them to do this? Now, do exactly that and you'll become a travel vlogger. If you want to get the results of a pickup artist, do exactly what every good pickup artist does, and what happens? You become a good pickup artist. Now, something that like the fundamentals of the game, that's how I came up with that. I looked at all the key traits of everybody I ever knew that was good with women, and I made the fundamentals of the game videos. And I also used that for myself. I knew that they were the fundamentals, so then I made them myself, so then my game would get really fucking good. Anything you want to get good in, you look at the key factors, and those are the things that are going to make you that person and get the same results as them. All right, now burn the boats. Now, a lot of you guys are probably in places where you're resistant to changing. Now, something that I've seen a lot of people do, and it's really consistent, you can actually look this up. Most guys of success, when they were in a personality that wasn't congruent to that successful person, what do? They moved from the environment. They left the environment. They left their friends. They left their place. They left the habits that were holding them back. The cues and the habits that were holding them back. When you leave the place, the cues and the habits that were holding you down into this person are gone. And now you can move into this new character. When I wanted to change myself, I moved to Las Vegas. When Tyler moved from Canada, Julian moved from Sweden to here. It's to change yourself, if you really need to, get away from the people that are holding you down like the crabs in the bucket. All right, move to a new place, because when you do this, it's going to refresh new habits and you can have the ability to create new cues and new habits upon yourself. Now, the process of changing is a little bit advanced. Okay, so this is my own theory on how people change, and you guys can like correct me in the comment section if you don't think this is what's actually happening. But so maybe one of you guys takes consultation calls with me. I'm trying to change who you are. Now I'm going to explain this exact same process to you, and I've done this in the past with everybody who's ever done anything with me. So when you try to change yourself, the world and the people around you are going to naturally resist you because things that are different are scary. They don't want to lose you. They like you. They don't want to lose you. And if you keep changing, they're going to lose you. So what happens? All right. So you start changing. Your friends are like right here and they're like, you start acting maybe subtly different. You can't completely act differently because the hierarchy in your brain is very intelligent. It knows at any point where you are in the hierarchy around you. It can read people. It senses, it's like, okay, this guy's higher value than you. This guy's higher value than you. And it holds you down in this kind of a way. It's like, oh, that girl right there, you can totally talk to, but that girl over there, you cannot talk to her because she's going to 100% reject you. So it blocks you out from seeing her, but this girl over here, you get a hard on for her. Before you even talk to her, you know that you can have sex with her. So now you're turned on to talk to her, and she's more likely to like you. Now, in the same way, like when you're trying to change yourself, that's going to hold you back. It's that hierarchy system. Now, what you have to do is you have to slowly change. So I'm going to tell you guys all this kind of stuff. You guys are going to watch my videos. I'm going to tell you how to be cooler, but you're going to be resistant to it at first. Because of your habits, because of your hierarchical system, you don't think you can be this person. And you have to prove to yourself that you are this person. So you watch my videos, you change a little bit. Maybe you change like one or two things about yourself, or maybe just you move an inch in that direction. Now your friends get scared. The girls around you get scared. What happens? They fall off, oftentimes. People like, now that you're somebody different, you draw to you something that's different. Your outside is a reflection of the internal. When the friends around you are a certain way, it's an indication that you guys are on the same wavelength. So what happens? Your wavelength changes subtly. They start resisting you. They may start fighting you, and then they fall off. They're gone. Now you're alone for a little bit. Then what you'll find is when people are out of the way, new people are going to be able to move into these new spots. Then a new group comes. Then you start changing subtly. And then people start reacting to you differently again and start reacting to you maybe more positively, subtly. Initially though, they'll resist you, they'll fight you, then they fall off again. Then a new group. Now, the way this happens is, all right, so ultimately, these are the kind of people you want to find in this kind of thing. I'm just so, as a heads up, because there's going to be somebody in the comment section saying, oh no, then you're forever alone. The people if you're on this journey of being a boss, ultimately you're gonna find that there's gonna be other bosses just like you that are also growing and evolving and want you to grow as a person because they like you. And they're not intimidated by your growth and success. They want all their homies to be successful people. And when you find these kind of people, those are the true friends you're gonna have for a lifetime. Now, I call this the onion. It's like a peeling away. Like, it's not like changing who you are is very difficult because your ego's in place, your hierarchical system is in place, your habits and your people around you are in place. It's kind of tough to like change who you are, especially when you're not getting the results. So when I'm over here, like me and my friends are over here like getting laid like motherfuckers, it's really easy for me to be like, I'm a boss. Because the outside world is reflecting that back to me. It's really easy for me to be like, I'm good with women because women like me a lot and generally they give me that feedback. But when you're trying to tell yourself you're good with women and you're not getting the feedback, it's kind of difficult. So you have to inch your way into it because women are going to slowly start liking you more and more. It's a slow kind of a process. You'll have like big leaps at times where like for whatever fucking reason you just like your mindset's completely flip. Maybe like it'll all of a sudden dawn on you something new, a new mindset, or it's like realize you're holding yourself back in a certain way and you'll leap. But for the most part, it's a slow grind. It's a long process to change who you are. All right, now in this part, I'm gonna teach you guys some like strategies that I use to change myself. Now, first and foremost, I realized that I'm a sponge. You guys are all sponges. You are the people you hang around, you're the environment you're in, you're the society that you immerse yourself in. So if you wanna be successful, you start watching people like Gary Vaynerchuk, Tony Robbins, you start listening to like millionaires and billionaires, you start reading all their books, and you start absorbing their culture. Then what happens? You start becoming richer, you start making more money because now you're part of that culture. Find cultures that have what you want and then immerse yourself in it. Like you wanna be good with women, immerse yourself in the pickup industry. You wanna be good with money, immerse yourself in the money industry. What's gonna happen is then your mindset's gonna change and you're gonna slowly like shift the personality of this person and move into that new direction. Now, something else I do, I call it idol theory. I think as a human species, like we're built to like be in a tribe and notice when one person is doing really well in the tribe. And what happens is you give that person admiration. You start really focusing and like really keying into that person because that person has so much value. Because that person is doing something that's getting them that value. Now for you need to find a person, like I look to a lot of celebrities, I look to a lot of people on YouTube, like all these success gurus and stuff like that, and I'll look at one of them and I will idolize them and I'll try to become just like them. My speaking, if you haven't noticed, is getting a lot fucking better. The reason for that being is because I watch a lot of Elliot Hulse, I watch a lot of R.C. Tyler. Like I watch these people and I listen to the way they talk, and I idolize them and I envy the way they speak. And now, guess what's happening? My speaking is getting better and better. And as time goes on, probably 5 years from now, my speaking will probably be incredible. It's like this is the way you change yourself. You idolize people. You find people that have what you want. Instead of like being jealous of it, you learn to key into and understand it. You can have it as well. You're not held back by your beliefs, by your low self-esteem. You can have whatever the fuck you want. It's a slow kind of victory kind of thing because at first you're gonna resist it because you don't think you can have it. You don't think you can have dime pieces. You don't think you can have a lot of money. But what happens is you have small victory, small victory, small victory, small victory, and eventually you realize, yes, you can have it. All right, now another thing you have to realize too is you have two different selves. You have a low self and a high self. Now, a lot of you guys know that I had to break up with my ex to get back into the pickup industry because I was on the track to marry her. And I knew it was just a toxic relationship. Now, there were two different me's when I was doing this. There was low self me that wanted to stay with her, that was in scarcity, that when I was talking to her, I'm like, I love this girl and I want to be with her for the rest of my life because I was in scarcity, because I needed her. But then my brain would be a little bit faster, maybe be more self-confident, I'd be a lot smarter. And in this person, I call him high self. This guy is the guy that should be making your decisions. When you come to low state self, tell yourself, I'm in a bad mood, and recognize that you're here. When you're in a bad mood, in a low brainwave kind of place, don't let this guy create your reality. Let the other person create reality. When you're in a high mood, this is the person that you're gonna use to rewire yourself. All right? This guy down here, when he starts thinking negative thoughts, you tell yourself, oh, I'm low state me, become more present, stop trying to create my reality, and be nice to yourself. All right? This is the person that helps you out. This is the person that's you're gonna have to be nice to yourself with. Treat him like a child. All right, now another thing that's gonna sound counterintuitive, especially to people in the pickup community, radical honesty. Becoming the person that you express on the outside is the person that's also on the inside. Now, something you notice in my videos is that I'm constantly, I seem like I'm pretty congruent. I seem like I'm always saying what I'm feeling. It seems like I believe the stuff that I'm saying. And the reason it is because I actually do. And it makes me more charismatic. And not just that, it's like, if you guys watch all of my fucking videos, I never deviate from the general message. Like every video, no matter what, is gonna be the same content. I never switch it up. I never say, oh, this and then this. Like I never go back on myself. And if I ever do, it's because maybe like I went through a new like a change in myself. However, the reason this is not because like I'm some kind of like super genius that can remember every video I ever shot. It's because I'm always this person. The person that I'm saying and I'm talking about on this camera is the person that I always am. And for this reason, I become charismatic. I become like, because I have belief behind what I'm saying, because I believe this person, like, and because I'm always congruent, because like even when you guys see me out and about, I'm gonna be this person you see on the camera. I'm gonna have the same beliefs. It makes you charismatic, and like having multiple personalities for multiple people is supplicating. As a man of like power, you should never have to be that kind of a person. You should like, to a certain extent, like, I mean, if you're doing it to supplicate and you're trying to be a boss, my ultimate feeling is to mitigate it. Like in my personal feeling, you should always try to be like one person. You shouldn't be a plethora of people, because when you're trying to be a plethora of people, you're doing something to try to get a certain result. And when you're doing that, it can come across incongruent. You want to find a personality that gets you everything you want because it's so powerful and because it's so congruent to you. Not because it's like some kind of like little tool you're using to try to, you know, figure out the certain situation. You want yourself to be congruent at all fucking times. And when you're really congruent, people sense it and they start liking you. It's a lot easier to get places because you're so honest. Practice radical honesty. Stop being a dark worm. Okay, so something that I always constantly do too is I audit myself. I sit down at the end of the day and I think through, what were the things that I could have fixed about myself? How could I have gotten rid of my negative emotions? How could I make myself more positive? Is there something that I did where I maybe I fucked up and I was lazy? Maybe I didn't get enough sleep the day before and now I'm really cranky. How would my 10 out of 10 version of myself handle myself? And who is this 10 out of 10 version? So like every 1 to 2 months, what I do is I sit down and I write out a new me. This new version of myself, me 2.0. So like, as you guys can see here, like this is the one I just wrote yesterday. Essentially what I do is I sit down and I'm like, how would this new version of myself be? What do I want out of life? How can I improve my status in life? So then I sit down, I'm like, okay, I need to get rid of the rest of my insecurities. So I sat down, I even have like a little notebook and I wrote down all my current insecurities. I'm like, I need to get rid of these. These are the insecurities that I need to start knocking out one by one. What are the beliefs that are holding them in place? How can I eradicate them? And now I'm like, I make the mental note in the next 2 months to start cleaning out these insecurities and start working on them. Now, changing yourself is kind of more like, it's more of like, it's not like you're wiping everything clean. It's not a whiteboard. It's like diluting the water. Like the water's maybe purple and you're like trying to like make it more clear. So you're dipping more water in there. You're trying to make it more, giving it more, basically you're making it more clear. It's like the same kind of way. It's like you're diluting the water. You're this person, so you're slowly getting rid of it. Like I'll always have some extent like the old person I am, but it's so diluted that you guys would never see it. This is kind of like what you want to do. You want to dilute the water and kind of make yourself more into this direction. Now, I did a lot of things. So I sat down and I'm like, okay, so I want to be somebody with 100,000 subscribers. What does this guy do in his everyday life? And I look to other people with hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I'm looking at what they're doing, how much content they're putting out, the type of content, the way they're doing their tags. I look at their Instagrams and I try to be like, okay, so this is the new person I need to start being. What are the common traits? I need to start doing all these things in the same way. Something else I do is like, well, I want to be somebody that makes $150,000 a year. That's my next goal. So who's this guy that makes $150,000 a year? I need to start thinking more about you guys instead of thinking about competition. So instead of me like focusing on my competition and where I'm not at yet, I need to start focusing on helping you guys as much as humanly possible. And that's going to get me there a lot faster. So that's a new mindset I have to work on. Then I started sitting down and working on my mindsets. I started working on my relationships. How can I improve my relationships? How can I make myself less jealous and needy and more like an empathetically loving person for the girl that I'm like, that is experiencing me? How can I become more of a dominant masculine presence? Like how am I supplicating in a way that like is unnecessary and is very weak? This is what you guys need to do. Every so often, audit yourself. Whether it's weekly, monthly, yearly, like this is what you have to do. You have to figure out like the idea is figure out the next version of yourself and you want to close the gap between him and you. You want to make that person the new you. You want to shed this like this personality like a fucking like a cocoon, which not to be like say the same cliche as everybody else, so I'm gonna stop right there. But like in the same way, you need to get rid of the person. Like you're not the ego you have in front of you. Like a lot of people want to get this Disneyland kind of view on this, that if you change who you are, then you're a bad person. If you change who you are, you're inauthentic. The idea is you fake it to make it. Then once you make it, then you become your real self. then you like, I fake maybe 3 things in myself and that I want to fix at a time. And eventually it's no longer faking it. Eventually I am just that person because my actions are going to drive the ego and the character. And eventually, because I'm doing that, I start becoming that person as opposed to faking it. It's a huge difference. Like a lot of people, like they want to make this whole like kind of Disneyland, like read it on a poster, like cat poster kind of view of life. Life is way more complex than just that. There's massive gray zones. And in my personal opinion, if you were truly a good person, why wouldn't you want to level yourself up? Why wouldn't you become a better person for the people around you, for them to experience you? Because in my personal opinion, if you're going to hold yourself down to be a dark person or maybe to be a person of less value and less light, like how are you helping anybody out by doing that? How are you not, by suffocating your light like that, how are you going to help the people around you and the people that love you? How are you going to bring them up? I'm going to say this, like the reason I'm here right now is because my friends and family were unafraid to, hide their own light. And for that reason, I saw that I could do it myself. If you really want to help the people around yourself, be an example for them. Like let yourself shine. Like let yourself really come through. The second you start doing this, you're going to start realizing the people that are ready to receive it are going to start leveling up. I see my friends all around me, all getting pulled up. We're all pulling each other up. We're all going faster and faster. And like the friends that are ready for this are all coming up with me. And there's people above me. They're already like moving themselves up, and I'm like right behind them. I'm on their tail. It's like this. Find the people who are willing to grow with you. Like don't suffocate this. Don't be afraid to move into this. Learn to do this and understand it's going to be a long journey. It's arduous. It's not easy becoming somebody that's better. It's a lot easier to stay stagnant. It's way less energy. It's also a lot easier on your ego. It's a lot less painful. However, if you're willing to lean into the pain and push yourself through this, there is exponential value. I have no idea where I'm going to be in the next 10 years, but I'm very certain it's going to be somewhere very fucking amazing. And it's because I did this for myself. And you could do this yourself as well. With that being said, peace out.
Made a face of a long night, yeah. Made love with the lights on, yeah. Came up, no cosign, yeah. Watch me as make a lifelong, yeah. Watch me as I turn a life from a daydream. Learn a couple things from the night to the play me. I was waiting in the car, trying to doze off. Now they gon' play me in the car and the TV. Caught feelings, caught the bitch cheating. Cold waves, fish to keep feeding. My shine was built from the ground up. My stock price is increasing.